I am throwing away this Whoop in the trash. And I want to tell you in this video why, and also share with you some alternatives that might be a better option for you. So I've been tracking my sleep every single night for the last 5 years, and I've been looking for an all-in-one tracker because as good as the Oura Ring is, it's pretty useless when it comes to fitness tracking. So I had high hopes for the Whoop because a lot of my friends use it and swear by it. So I decided to give it a try for myself. So there are 7 things that really grind my gears about Whoop, and the first one is the price. So obviously it's a high subscription, anywhere from $20 to $30, unless you make a really long-term commitment. Number 2 is going to be the charging. It has this tiny little cable that's very easy to lose, as well as this puck. So basically the puck plugs into this little cord. You take the puck off and you slide it on like that, okay? This seems cool in concept, because like, oh yeah, I can charge it on the go, and that's nice. But you can't charge the Whoop without this little puck thing. So if you lose either one of these things, then you have to buy a new one. And a new charger costs $50. So even though you get the band for free and all you have to do is pay for the subscription, that's not really the case, because you're definitely gonna lose one of these in the period of time that you have a Whoop. I guarantee it. The third one is gonna be how Whoop calculates strain score. This is one of the most frustrating things about Whoop, because Whoop is supposed to be a fitness tracker, but the Whoop strain score is mainly dictated by heart rate. So you could do any type of cardio exercise and it's gonna jack up your strain. But you could absolutely crush it in a weightlifting session, but have a lower heart rate, but it won't take that into account. You could be really fatigued, really sore, your nervous system could be really wiped, and it won't really show that in your strain score. It will just tell you to keep pushing, which creates this kind of like almost vicious cycle of like, my Whoop keeps telling me to push it harder, and I was in bed for long enough, but I'm not actually fully recovered. I'm still sore. I still went really hard yesterday, and I don't feel like I have the capacity to push it again. But because I didn't get my heart rate up, then Whoop is going to tell me, oh, you still got more in the tank, you should keep going. So the whole point of tracking your fitness and this strain score really becomes meaningless because it's not accurate. The fourth thing is the way that it calculates your sleep score. The way that Whoop does this is it's about total sleep time. So if you sleep the total sleep time, you'll get 100% sleep. But that doesn't factor in the quality of that sleep. So if you had low REM sleep, or you have low deep sleep, or you had a bunch of sleep disturbances, or it took you a long time to fall asleep, none of that factors into the algorithm of your actual sleep score. So you could stay in bed, hypothetically, for a very long time, but you could have a terrible night's rest, and you could still get 100% sleep score, which then factors into your recovery score. So from a broken algorithm perspective on the sleep score, it just then translates into your recovery. So number 5 is this wristband gets disgusting. It smells so bad, and I've washed it multiple times. I've drowned it in hydrogen peroxide to basically get rid of all the bacteria and gross stuff that was growing. And it got so bad that my girlfriend said that I can't put my arm around her because it smelled so bad. It smelled like feet. Okay, like moldy feet. And I washed it multiple times. So the thing that you don't calculate when you get the Whoop is that not only will you lose the puck and have to pay $50 to replace it, but you're also gonna have to replace these wristbands every 6 months. And so it's really not the cost that people think it is. It's actually much more. Number 6 is that there's no airplane mode. So I was at Ryan Blazer's house from testmyhome.com, and I made another video with him, which I'll put up right here that you can go watch later. And we put the EMF meter next to the Whoop, and it was off the charts. And the Oura Ring and a lot of other fitness trackers have an airplane mode where you can just toggle on and off, which means that it's not sending the Bluetooth signal to your phone. And at nighttime, I tend to sleep with my hand underneath my pillow, which means I'm just blasting EMF into my face, which I'd rather not do. I'm not crazy tin hat about EMF, but if I can avoid it, I will. And if I can not have it close to my face and my brain, then I will also do that. I feel like this is a feature that all fitness trackers and sleep trackers have, and there's no reason why Whoop shouldn't have one. So number 7 is that my strap broke a few weeks into having my Whoop. I'll show you what I mean by this. So this just slides off. It's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to actually like be on there. So if I actually want to take it off and put it back on, I have to hold this in place to make sure that it doesn't shift to one side. Boom. it just falls apart like that. That's not supposed to happen. And it happened in the first week or two of me having it. And I just feel like if you're gonna give the product away for free, make sure the product's actually good. So obviously I haven't had a super great experience with Whoop, but I think what they're doing is innovative. I think what they're trying to accomplish is the right goal. I just don't think they're meeting the actual need. Like it's just the technology's not there yet. Do I believe in the founder will? Yes. Do I believe that they'll be able to figure out eventually? I actually do. It's not there yet. So for that reason, I'm not a huge fan of the Whoop, and neither was my friend Justin, and he's gonna explain his frustrations with the Whoop as well. And he's also gonna introduce you to a alternative that you probably never heard of that actually might be a better solution for you if you wanna track your fitness.
So the first thing for me was that the Whoop is almost overwhelming. Unless you're like a research nerd like me, you know, tons of data, awesome. I just can't wait to get dug in and stuck in with it. But a lot of the people that I coach, a lot of my friends that wear the Whoop, they get lost in that amount of data. And so really the question is how much of that data is truly practical and how much does Whoop actually help people to understand the data? The next thing for me is that the Whoop measurements, you know, the little laser on the back of it, unlike every other fitness tracker that I know, the Whoop actually leaves like a little burn mark. And I definitely got that as well. And I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people that had the same experience as me. So the third thing is the accuracy of the data. Now, all the wearables are always going to be a little bit inaccurate, but I mean, if you're going to buy one because you want to track your sleep, you want to make sure that the accuracy of the data is as close to accurate as possible. And so if we just go off old Rob, the quantified scientist, he tracks all of these things and puts them all together, and he shows you the incidence of error that occurs. When you look at all the other sleep trackers as well, and you combine them all together, the very simple point is that Whoop is actually not that accurate when we compare it to some of the other trackers that's out there. So I really encourage people to take a look at the Polar H10 and connecting that together with an app called Elite HRV and look at what it gives you. The main point that I love is that Elite HRV gives you a spectrum for your heart rate variability. Are you too much one way, too much the other way? Whereas Whoop just has this idea of like low is bad, high is good, and that's it. The thing that I failed to mention so far is that we want these things to be as accurate as possible if we're going to use it as feedback. If Whoop isn't that accurate with sleep, and if Whoop's strain score is calculated purely by cardio, well, what are some of the alternatives that are out there anyway? So if we go back to Rob, the quantified scientist, one of the interesting things that he talks about within sleep trackers and fitness trackers is obviously Apple products. Now, if you're thinking about an Apple Watch from the perspective of like, oh, this is a smartwatch. But if you think about it as a fitness tracker and you throw out the smartwatch capabilities and you use it just to track sleep and activity throughout the day, now we've got something interesting cooking. The entire concept is that we can get more accurate measurements from the Apple Watch. In particular, he talked about the Apple Watch SE second generation, which is 2022's one. The very simple point is that the Whoop total cost for a single year, you know, let's say with all the discounts and everything, is going to be around $250, whereas if you buy the Apple Watch SE, you can even buy like a second-hand version of it. Even if we're buying it brand spanking new, it's gonna cost more or less the same price, but it's once off, and then you own it for life. Don't get me wrong, Whoop still has features that add in as well, but really the question is how much does that matter? Apple Watch, if you go into health data, it doesn't have like a nice dashboard. It's got your accurate sleep data, but it doesn't tell you anything based on that. It doesn't say like, okay, your sleep was great, so it's time to be active or anything like that. The Whoop dashboard really is a beautiful thing where you see your health stats at a glance. The one thing that I like to do with the Apple Watch then is to see that as a dashboard. That's why you need the app Athletic. So the app Athletic actually provides that dashboard, sources it all from the health data. So now we've got the same as the Whoop. It's a dashboard that tells us all these things, but the metrics are much more accurate. With Whoop, it's not big enough where the accessories are produced by third parties. Meanwhile, Apple Watches, you can just go onto Amazon and see everything that you want. I bought my wife a sweatband that's got a little lock-in spot for the Apple Watch. You can buy ladies ones, nighttime ones, things like that. And the biggest thing is I prefer the silicone straps as opposed to the Whoop straps. Why? Because you can wash these really easily and they don't stink.
So is the Whoop all bad? Ironically, I actually don't think it is. I think it serves a good place in the market, even though I'm gonna be throwing mine away and canceling my subscription. I wanna tell you a quick story about Justin that he shared with me that's worth sharing with you, which is that he saw a picture of himself where he was without a shirt and he didn't like the way he looked. He was out of shape, and he decided to make it a point that when he returned from his vacation that he was gonna work out and hit his strain every single day, no matter what. And through the process of having that thing to work towards every day, he was able to get in way better shape, lose some weight, and really expedite his fitness journey. And now he doesn't really need it in the same way that he had it before. So in some cases, I actually think it's a great gateway drug for people to get started on their fitness journey, or to just have something to keep them a little bit more motivated. I love that they have the group feature where you can compete with your friends. I think that's an incredible aspect of the app, but at the same time, after having it for a year now and paying the monthly subscription, I'm like, why am I doing this? For all these reasons, it just doesn't make sense anymore. I'm still on the hunt for an all-in-one fitness sleep tracker because for me, I actually don't like the Apple Watch. The way that it feels around my wrist while I'm sleeping, I don't like it. I also don't like the screen because it has blue light. I just don't want to mess with it. And so I know over time that this space is going to evolve and get better and better and better. And I'm really hoping that Whoop sees this video, takes this feedback, iterates on the product and makes it better. And hey, I'm open to becoming a customer again. But for now, I think I'm just gonna have to keep the search going. So that's it for this video. And if you like this one, go ahead and go watch that video right there. I know you're gonna love it. Take care and be well.